Hello and welcome. So, are you planning something big overseas, maybe a wedding, buying some property, or handling other legal matters? If you are, you've probably run into a little piece of paper called a single status statement. Today, we are going to break down exactly how to get that statement apostilled step by step.
So, here's our plan. We'll kick things off with the dream that gets this whole process started. Then, we'll get into what an apostille and a single status statement even are. After that, we'll jump into the step-by-step guide, and we'll wrap up by looking at timelines and some common mistakes you'll definitely want to avoid.
All right, let's dive into Section 1, A Dream Meets Bureaucracy. This is that moment where your amazing international plans, that destination wedding or that dream apartment abroad, suddenly run into the wall of paperwork needed to make it all real.
I mean, just picture it, right? You've got this incredible vision. Maybe it's saying your vows on a stunning beach somewhere, or finally getting the keys to that condo with a perfect view. These are massive, super exciting moments in life.
And a dream that big deserves a smooth start, not one that gets totally bogged down in confusing red tape. But to make it all official on a global scale, there's a key bureaucratic step you just can't skip.
Which brings us right to Section 2. What in the world is an apostille? Honestly, the easiest way to think about it is like an international passport, but for your documents.
Okay, so an apostille is an official certificate. Its entire job is to prove that a public document is legit so other countries will accept it. It's important to note, it's not verifying what's in your document, but instead that the signature on it from, say, a notary or a county clerk is real.
Now, an apostille isn't some magic wand that works everywhere. It works specifically for countries that are part of something called the Hague Apostille Convention. It's basically a big international agreement between a bunch of countries to make authenticating documents way, way easier.
And we're not talking about some tiny, exclusive club here. There are over 120 member countries. Think places like Italy, Spain, France. This makes the apostille a super useful and widely accepted tool for your big international plans.
Okay, on to Section 3. Let's talk about the specific document you need to get apostilled, the single status statement. And, well, it pretty much does what it says on the tin. It proves you're free to get married.
At its heart, this thing is a sworn statement. You are officially declaring, under oath, that you aren't married right now and there's nothing legally stopping you from getting married. A lot of foreign governments require this before they'll even think about giving you a marriage license.
And here's where things can get a little confusing. This document goes by a bunch of different names. You might hear it called an Affidavit of Single Status, a Certificate of No Impediment, or even a Certificate of Freedom to Marry. Don't worry, they all mean the exact same thing.
Okay, let's get to the main event. Section 4 is all about the actual process. This is your step-by-step game plan for getting it done.
To make this whole thing less intimidating, we're going to break it down into two simple phases. Phase 1, you got to get this single status form. Phase 2, you got to get that form apostilled. Easy enough, right? Let's start with Phase 1.
So where do you even find this form? Your first stop is your local city or town clerk's office. When you go, make sure you have your documents ready, like your ID, proof of where you live, and if you've been married before, your divorce decree. After you fill out the form, you get to the most critical step, getting it notarized. This means a notary public has to actually watch you sign it.
Once you have that notarized form in your hands, you're ready for Phase 2. You're going to submit this document to the Secretary of State's office in the state where it was notarized. They're basically going to check the notary's signature and make sure it's all legit. Then you'll pay the fee and they'll attach the apostille certificate.
All right, let's get to our final section. And trust me, this one is really important. Timelines and common pitfalls. This is all about knowing what to expect and how to prepare, so there are no nasty surprises. So, the big questions: how long does this take and what's it going to cost? Well, standard processing time is usually somewhere between 5 and 15 business days, but that can really change depending on the state. If you're in a rush, there are almost always expedited services. For the cost, you should probably budget somewhere in the neighborhood of $150 to $200 per document. So, what you need to watch out for? The number one mistake is incorrect certification. If that notarization isn't done right, the whole thing gets rejected, and guess what? You have to start all over again. Also, always check the rules for your specific destination country. Some of them might require a certified translation on top of the apostille. And finally, please do not leave this to the last minute. One simple error can cause delays that mess up your entire schedule. And don't just take my word for it. As our source material clearly states, the process of apostilling a single status statement can be lengthy.
This really hammers home the point. You've got to plan ahead.
So, what's the bottom line here? It's this. Starting early and getting it right the first time is absolutely key to a smooth, stress-free start to your international journey. Don't let a totally preventable paperwork problem ruin what should be an incredibly exciting time.
And that kind of leaves us with a final thought to chew on. In this super interconnected world, where we can fly across borders so easily, isn't it kind of fascinating that a simple, official stamp, an apostille, is still the ultimate symbol of trust between different countries? It's just a piece of paper, but it's what makes our global lives possible. Thanks so much for watching.